What's it gonna be? Ant-Man.
Kang is coming. The MCU's next Thanos is poised for a key role in this February's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. God, I hate that title. Ant-Man is right there in the branding. It's even centered in the middle of the lettering. Grr. I digress. After Kang fights the combined might of Killmonger and Scott Lang in 2023, who will he take on next? Well, Kang star Jonathan Majors is jonesing for a fight against none other than the God of Thunder. In an interview with Nerd Bunker, Majors bantered about a potential match with Thor.
Which Avenger are you most excited to see him beat down in a big battle?
I think we have to start with Thor. Yeah, come on, bring it. Come. Yeah.
If I ever interview Chris Hemsworth, I'll tell him that, and
I'm not
see what
afraid of
happens.
Chris Hemsworth.
Oh no. I may have started the plot of the next Avengers movie.
Maybe.
If Kang is really as powerful as Marvel is hyping him up to be, then it would make sense that one of the strongest Avengers
Access denied.
would take him on in a head-on fight in Kang Dynasty in 2025. In fact, having Kang fight Thor would not only set the stage for the villain to be even bigger than Thanos, but would fix the God of Thunder's maligned Phase 4 journey and even potentially bring his story to a satisfying conclusion. Thor must die, and he must die at the hands of the mighty Kang the Conqueror.
What a classic Thor adventure.
Before Thor Love and Thunder, Hemsworth said that he was game for doing Thor as long as he could. Post Love and Thunder, he certainly seems less enthused, in no doubt due to the poor critical reception. Now his comments seem much more final, indicating to Variety that he would like to close the book on Thor and seemingly give him a final stand. I feel like we'd probably have to close the book if I ever did it again, you know what I mean. I feel like it probably warrants that. I feel like it would probably be the finale, but that's not based on anything anyone's told me or any sort of plans. You have this birth of a hero, the journey of a hero, then the death of a hero, and I don't know. Am I at that stage? Who knows? This is no surprise given the fact that he said he was bored by the character after Dark World and Age of Ultron, feeling that Marvel needed to refresh things and mix it up to keep him engaged. Ragnarok and the Infinity War double bill made great strides in his story, but Love and Thunder certainly left things in a similar creative deficit we've experienced years before. Love and Thunder might have been a misfire, but in terms of Thor's story, it does tie things off pretty well. His love story with Jane Foster reaches its conclusion, Asgard has settled and prospered in a new place with a new king, he's largely given up the fight to focus on himself, and he even ends up a surrogate daddy. I don't really need a movie about him and the kid, but I'm happy for them to ride off into the sunset together, so when we catch up with Thor next, unless a solid new conflict is introduced, it would start to feel like overkill to keep using him. I was originally on board for having Thor kick around well into the next phases. It made sense for me to have the God of Thunder long outlast both Tony and Steve, because then the audience gets a real-time feeling of what it's like for Thor himself.
You know, I'm 1,500 years old.
I don't age, but humans decay. You wither and you die. You can spend the rest of your life with me, but I can't spend the rest of mine with you.
But after Thor Love and Thunder's tepid storytelling, and the fact that Phase 4 introduced a ridiculous number of new heroes that deserve the spotlight, I think it might be time for the character to make his momentous exit. By the time we come to Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, Thor will have been involved in 4 solo movies and 4 Avengers team-up movies. Odin's son's not a character that has merely popped up in these movies, he's been central to the plot every single time. The least relevant being arguably Age of Ultron, but he still had a decent amount of screen time. In both Infinity War and Endgame, he had a massive arc that really served as the linchpin to that story. It would be a bit redundant to give him another huge role in the next 2 Avengers movies, but equally I think it would be a cop-out to give him a minor role. Remember how limp Bruce Banner was in Infinity War and Endgame? Yeah, we don't want that for Thor. Give him a small but pivotal inclusion, allowing for the new heroes like Captain America and Shang-Chi to step up to the real battle. Of course, aside from Hemsworth's fluctuating enthusiasm for the character, understandably rooted in fluctuating quality behind the camera, is the fact that he was recently made aware of a potentially concerning health issue. Being genetically predisposed to develop Alzheimer's in later life, Hemsworth has taken the decision to put his work on the back burner to focus on family. With that in mind, who knows how many more roles the actor will want to pursue going into the future. He's certainly left his mark already. Whether he takes a short break or enjoys a longer absence, it means that a full solo Thor quest or even a substantial role in a team-up might be a bit of a stretch. Why not let the actor come in for a few weeks to shoot an awesome climactic scene to his time with the character? The guy has already given us over a decade of Thor stories. Thor says in Infinity War that he's killed thousands of warriors and that Thanos is just another in a long line of bastards for him to destroy. Well, he went for the head, he finished Thanos, but eventually someone is going to be in that line that stops the God of Thunder once and for all.
I've killed twice as many enemies as that, and every one of them would have rather killed me, but none succeeded.
Next.
He has to die in battle. What else could finish the God of Thunder? He has to go to Valhalla. So however the storyline to Kang Dynasty goes, and there's a lot of pieces in play with more to be added across the next few years, so we don't know how it's going to go at this point, I want Thor's part to be something like this. At the opening of the movie, Kang emerges to take on the Avengers, but before the team can take him on, Thor takes a stand against him. He's wearing an awesome version of his classic MCU look, no garish gold frills, and he even wears that sweet helmet. Knowing of Kang, he's come prepared with not only Stormbreaker, but Mjolnir too. Kang notes that he's killed Thor, Odin's son, many times before. This time will be no different. Even with two hammers, Thor is no match for Kang. Not this time. It's a lengthy and epic battle where the two trade blow after blow. Kang cracks Stormbreaker across his knee, tearing the hammer in two and leaving the God of Thunder with only Mjolnir to continue the battle. Bloodied and bruised, Thor continues on throwing every bit of lightning he can against Kang. But let's pause it right there and talk about Loki.
Expect the expected.
Loki Season 1 already established a dynamic between Kang and Loki that we will no doubt see play out in his second season. By the time we get to Kang Dynasty in 2025, Loki will have had at least a third, maybe even a fourth season by then, and I think the work started there will perfectly segue into the penultimate beat of this battle. What if we watch Loki progress across multiple seasons of his show, becoming a key hero in the battle against Kang, all the while desperate to reunite with his brother? He's keen to show him the person he has become, and he wants his brother to be proud of him. Across Loki, the series, Loki does good and deserves to be rewarded for it, which is why he should totally be denied this resolution. Loki should reach Kang just a tad too late. He should get to the battle at the start of Kang Dynasty, seconds before the villain strikes the killing blow to Thor. He arrives to be denied his brotherly reunion, and instead has to watch his brother's final moments the same way Thor had to watch him die in Infinity War. Thor never even realises his brother is there. He never finds out that he survived this variant form, and he never knows all the good he did across the universe in the Loki show. Thor dies, death to Loki screams. The other key heroes of the movie watch on and now know they are facing their toughest foe ever. Loki is hell-bent on stopping Kang the Conqueror now. You're going to die for that. Kang's first act in an Avengers movie is doing the thing that Thanos could never do: destroy Thor. The audience loses a beloved character, the stakes are set, and Loki is en route for a glorious purpose. Loki has become, and will continue to be, a good person as he grows and changes leading up to the conclusion of the multiverse saga. Seeing Thor die without them reuniting is key to this. If Loki expects a reward for his good deeds, then he will never be truly good at all. But if he can still manage to do the right thing, even after being denied one last day with his brother, then he's doing the right thing without witness and without reward. After Thor dies, the hammer calls to Loki. The hammer in Loki's hands would be a pretty sweet payoff to Thor's death, and the fact that historically, the God of Mischief hasn't just been unworthy, but comically bullied by Mjolnir. Only now has Loki come to be one with his brother's fabled weapon. In this sense, it is an extension of his deceased brother, a signifier of his entire family of which he is now the last one left standing. Holding the hammer, shedding cathartic tears, Loki realises that his brother is there, that he knows Loki lived on, and that yes, somewhere out there, he does know all the good he has done. In an epic battle against Kang, he overwhelms the Conqueror by hurling Mjolnir at him and simultaneously producing a maelstrom of projections, a devastating move combining both of their skill sets. With the hammer seemingly flying at Kang from a million different angles, he is unable to block the real strikes from the real hammer and falls. Loki defeats him, but is the battle over? Well, I'd say probably not, because we still have Secret Wars to follow it up with, and that's a story for another time. I really hope the rumour that the second part will be led by the perspectives of the multiverse heroes turns out to be true. Honestly, giving me that Tobey Maguire Hugh Jackman team up, they could easily lead one of the subplots in the movie.
Oh boy, yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
What do you think? Would you be happy for the next Thor appearance to be Chris Hemsworth's last? Would you want Kang to come to blows with Thor and ultimately even lose? And how do you think it sets the stage for Loki's arc? Would you like to see them properly reunite? Am I off on one today? Who knows? Let me know in the comments below. A big thank you to my full fat tier patron, Dr. Chike. If you'd like to donate money to my Patreon, you can find me at patreon.com/fullfatvideos. If you'd like to find me on Instagram, you can find me at full_fat_videos. And if you'd like to find me on Twitter, you can find me at fullfatvideos.